Hi, it's Sarah SMUTNY, your host of the Simply Balanced podcast. I'm super happy that you're listening in today. And here in this podcast, we are going to go deep on gut health, anti-inflammatory living, spirituality, self-care, and so much more.
Hi, Steph.
Hello.
Yeah, we are here back for our episode number 2. And today we are speaking about nutrients and hormones during the PMS and the cycle, and how we can, be more in balance with food. And today I'm again here with Steph, like always. Now you know her maybe already from our last episode, and if not, then listen to it. In the last episode, we talked about the seasons of our hormonal cycle and how you can accept your cycle and not force it or trying to be in the same state of energy and mind every single day in the month. And that's just not how your body works. So that's why we really wanted to do this series, to inspire you to live with your cycle and just feel in harmony with it, let's say. So Steph, so what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts about food and hormones during the cycle, like before and during your PMS?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think a lot of us experience sometimes really strong cravings, and often that is a sign from the body that it's requiring something that it's not getting, or it's depleted in an area. So often I think we think, oh no, I shouldn't be reaching for the chocolate, or I shouldn't have lots of carbs, because that's kind of, anti the Western approach to a healthy diet. If we look at these kind of fad things like the keto diet, and they're all like, carbs are the worst enemy. But in actual fact, for females especially, because we have these huge fluctuations in hormones throughout our cycle, these cravings come up naturally, because the body's asking for instance, with chocolate, it's asking for magnesium, and it's depleted in that magnesium. And magnesium plays a huge role in the body. It has over 300 different functions, but mainly it helps to calm the nervous system and to bring a relaxation to the mind and to the muscles. And when we lack it, we tend to have during PMS, you see often that people are lacking magnesium, and that it can really, really help if you add that to your diet or supplement it. But so foods that have that are naturally dark chocolate, definitely almonds, certain vegetables also have it. I've made an overview before on all the foods that you can use, but you can also look it up online. But basically that's a big one. And another one is then the carbs. And I think, yes, sometimes it's very satisfactory to have a big fat white slice of toasted bread or a croissant or something, and it's very satisfying. And sometimes that's what we just need to give into. But in general, I think it's really helpful to look for, the healthier version, which would be like, fermented sourdough or whole grains. But there's also foods that are really good at carb kind of stimulants. And the reason I'm saying this is the reason that we get the craving for the carbs as women is because right before our period starts, we have a drop in the estrogen hormone. And that's our kind of energizing super power woman, if you want to give it a kind of personality, this hormone. And when we lose that, our mood drops, we become a little bit more agitated, we're more impatient. And I think it's good then to supplement with the foods that can help bring back the kind of mood level. And the funny thing here is that the carbs replace the estrogen, because serotonin is your happy making hormone, and when the estrogen drops, so does serotonin. So the foods that will replace the estrogen that's lost are carb rich. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, to me, yes. I hope also for our listeners.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you have any questions about this episode, then always reach out to us on Instagram, on our Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, what are the foods which you mostly like tend to, when you're having your period?
Great. I would say, going for darker leafy greens like kale and spinach. Also including omega-rich foods. So either that's algae or a supplement with omega-3 or having frequent, meals with fish. The omega-3 helps to dampen inflammation in the body, and inflammation naturally goes up right before ovulation and right before your period. So there's that food group to think about. Flax seeds is also a really good source, and chia seeds. And then, the carbs that would be good to add are sweet potatoes. Quinoa is a really good one. And then also sometimes women have cravings for iron-rich foods because, of course, right before your period or right after your period, your body is kind of losing a lot of iron through the blood that it's losing. Yeah. So then again, the spinach and the leafy greens are high in iron, but also beetroots. But you can also think of there's certain dried fruits also, like prunes and apricots have good levels of iron.
How it's called?
Molasses syrup, yeah, is a really good source as well. And goji berries, and something called jujube dates, which is often used in traditional Chinese medicine to so-called build your blood.
Yeah. So there's a very, very good tips. I personally, I have the same what you just said, but I also try to always make myself, when I know my period is arriving, first of all, I'm drinking lots of dandelion and stinging nettle tea.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
I really listen to my intuition. I know that it's very, very good for me because of the water retention in that time. And I always make myself like a very nice cake for the week, or for it goes mostly away much faster.
You eat it up too quick.
So and there I use sweet potatoes as a base.
Nice.
Yeah, like a really nice sweet potato chocolate cake or things like that, or brownies. Chocolate mostly has to be then in these days.
Yeah.
So I supply myself with like wholesome sweets because I'm in the mood of these things, and
exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I have it. It's there, and I don't feel bad about not at all to maybe take one or two a day.
Yeah.
Because I just accept that my body needs it in that time.
Yeah.
And that's why then I also don't have any cravings anymore, because I'm already giving
satisfied them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of the time we kind of fight the cravings, and sometimes it's worth looking at what is this craving from? Is it from my body or is it from my mind? Am I feeling like the food will kind of support my emotional landscape? Sometimes it's so easy to kind of just rush through life and not kind of stand still and really dig into where is this feeling or craving or emotion coming from.
Because cravings are signs from our body. It's like signs. For example, if we have always cravings throughout the whole month, let's say for like crazy, at 3 p.m. I need that cake, or after dinner, after lunch, for example. If after lunch, you really, not you, I mean like our audience. You really need that cookie or something, then there's something in your gut.
Yeah, exactly.
Always like this, it means that your gut is in dysbiosis and you have too many bad bacteria. So that's also important to know, like if those cravings come punctually, like if it's related to your hormones, let's say, or your period, or if it's chronic like this. That's important information.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another thing that's also important here is to, and this is for throughout the cycle, by the way, is to be wary of adding, foods that are supporting the detoxification of your hormones, because as the hormones are used in the body, they also need to we need to get rid of them. And that's either through, regular daily bowel movements, urination, sweating, but there are certain foods that help to grab onto the hormones that need to leave the body, and that is, for instance, vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and flax seeds again. They're really good because they help to detoxify the unwanted hormones.
Yeah. And especially, also algae is super, super important. Yeah, to add,
exactly.
make our body more alkaline. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That is, again, with the inflammation, you want to reduce the inflammation.
Yeah, so that's why making a smoothie, for example, adding dark leafy greens like kale in it and beetroot, making really like dark.
Yeah.
During that time, like call it your period smoothie or whatever. Nice.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, my period is coming, so I have to go shopping and buy this, and that for my period smoothie. I even have a period tea with certain herbs in there. You can always write me a message on Instagram, and I give you the the ingredients of my period tea. So yeah, having really this fixed routines for these moments of your cycle, it's super helpful, because if each time we have a period, you have to think again, like, oh, what do I do again? It gets again messy. It's like if you want to lose weight, let's say, and you, you want to build muscles, let's say, and you every time you go to a fitness studio, like, sure, what do I do again, and which exercise should I do again? And you want to reinvent the wheel each time.
Yes.
No, you go to fitness studio, you have your roadmap. You go to that machine, to that, or whatever you're doing there, body pump, or
and I think it's also, respecting the cycle that way. Now you're going into your winter phase. You need to take care of yourself and nourish yourself and rebuild and hibernate a little bit socially. And this is how you fill up the tank. Taking certain foods to support and re-energize and nourish yourself.
And buy them before the period, because if in the moment of the period, let's say the first day of the period, you're already super low and you have no energy,
it's too late. Then
it's almost too late, because you're not in the mood at all anymore to go shopping. You're just on your couch or whatever, or you're just training yourself through the workday, and then at the evening you just stuff yourself with the cookies you still have in your cupboard.
Exactly.
So you have to be prepared.
Hey, and Sarah, I wanted to ask you, so what you were talking about, your tea and your smoothie, what would you do as your, daily meal plan for supporting hormones?
So in the evening, what is very nice is, of course, a very soothing curry, where you put kale. You can put kale in there, spinach. Curries are a very nice way. Curries and smoothies are the best way, in my eyes, in my opinion, to add the dark leafy greens, because dark leafy greens like that, it's not so tasty always, so you can just stir in at the end when the curry is ready some kale, and maybe even both, some spinach, and maybe with chickpeas in it, in the curry, because chickpeas are very good also for your protein during that time. And then eat that with quinoa. And
nice.
And also putting in the curry for sure sweet potato, because it's so good for your cravings, and it's very, very good for your blood sugar levels during that time. And it's very good for your serotonin. So quinoa and sweet potatoes in the evening are great for serotonin production. So that would be kind of a very like a go-to dinner. You can make a big pot. And then you're anyway not in the mood to cook in that time. So just eat your curry and maybe spruce it up each time a little bit different. You can add this or that each time to when you warm it up again. that day that's dinner is done,
Yeah.
You can
I
also
love
have,
that.
if you eat fish, you can have fish with sweet potato or with carrots, and with spinach on the side, for example, or tempeh if you're vegan. And for lunch, I would certainly opt for Buddha bowl.
Yeah,
Buddha
that
bowl
sounds like a
style,
good one.
it's the easiest, and you can really sneak in all these colors, especially the greens and the beetroot, in this dish, because you just assemble it. Maybe you eat you add some salmon or some tempeh or tofu or another protein with it.
Yep.
And that way, and a very good carb, of course, very good carb, like brown rice, whole grain rice. For example, make a big pot, like really do the meal prep for your Buddha bowls, like big pot of brown rice, and having the vegetables already. Maybe you can even grill some vegetables in the oven, so that put them in Tupperware, and that way you can assemble your Buddha bowl every lunch, and just put a drizzle on it, a very good drizzle, tahini with tahine in there. Tahine is also very good for your, I think it also contains quite some iron. I have to look it up, but I think tahine is also a very good source of iron.
Yeah.
I have to check it again, but yeah.
And I think, I was also thinking it could be really good to, with the Buddha bowl, it's really good, like you were saying, to make a big batch of quinoa and a big batch of brown rice and that sort of thing. You can even freeze these things. Yeah. You can freeze them in batches. And then, you don't always have to cook a new batch of quinoa and rice for every meal. It's so nice when you know that you have a healthy lunch that you can throw together in a pot really quickly because it's already made,
Yeah, because in that time of your cycle, you're not in the, like, let's see, I am not in the mood to cook.
Yeah.
Big dinners, stand in the kitchen for an hour to make big, let's say, complicated dinners. Not at all.
No, exactly. And then if you don't have the food prepared, you end up eating, a crappy sandwich with, processed foods or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
because you have that craving.
Yeah, and then you feel worse, and your blood sugar will drop, and you will have more sugar cravings, and you will have more fluctuations in the hormones.
More bloating.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really my tip, and I guess you're on the same page.
Yes.
And it doesn't take a lot of time to prepare a pot of quinoa and a pot of brown rice. But that's already the 20 minutes which it takes cooking, which are in that moment too much for you. Where you think, like,
exactly.
Craving, I need something now, and that's why. So great. Then we are on the same page in this thing. So what does it look like for you? For example, just to give our audience even more examples.
Yeah.
Let's say you get up in the morning. How does your routine look like on a normal cycle day? Like the cycle when you're in a stage of PMS or the period just started?
I definitely make sure I have a solid breakfast. And I know a lot of people are all about, extended fasting and all this sort of thing. But if you consider the fact that you have your last meal, and maybe it's 6 or 6:30 in the evening, and then you don't eat again until 8 o'clock, that's enough. It's enough of a fast for it to be a good chunk of change for your body to detoxify, repair, have a break from digestion, and I have a lot of respect for people that want to extend their fast, and that it is really good for you in general for if you're set up for that kind of thing. But I don't think everybody's set up for fasting, and especially not when you're heading towards your period. That's not a good time to do fasting. But in general, I like to have a really solid breakfast. And for me, the most important things for the first meal, but also actually for all the rest of the meals too, is to include a fat, a fiber, and a protein. So for instance, with porridge, that would be that I soak the oats overnight, and then I have a chia pudding that I also make in the evening with chia seeds, goji berries, and some plant milk. And some hemp seeds, and that goes into the porridge when I make it. So you're already getting your omegas in there, you're getting iron from the goji berries, you're getting protein from the hemp seeds, and then on top of that I will add a scoop of ghee. And ghee is another one of these really amazing gut healing supplements. It's got something called butyrate in it, which is scientifically to heal the gut lining. And inflammation, which happens before our period and before ovulation, kind of is weakening to the digestive system and the gut lining. So it kind of helps solidify that healing. And then I like to use spices in it, like cinnamon or cardamom. And these spices are a really interesting avenue for using food as medicine. Spices have a lot of powerful capacities in them. Cinnamon specifically helps to balance blood sugar and also kind of warm up the body energetically. So that's how I like to do it. Or I'll have a toast of sourdough whole wheat bread with some feta and olive oil and some rucola. And there again, you've got the fiber in the bread and the rucola. You've got the protein from the feta and the fat from the olive oil.
Yeah, great. And what do you drink with it?
I have to say, I always have a green tea or I'll have a coffee. And the coffee I will only have if I have some sort of coconut oil in it or MCT oil, because I'm sensitive to the caffeine jitters. But there are some mornings when I have young children and I'm feeling like I need a little extra kick to wake up. But the MCT oil really helps with kind of stabilizing that caffeine kick that you get, the jitters. And then the green tea, I can drink that all throughout day. But there's also, like you were saying, some herbal teas that I really, really lean on towards menstruation. And that is, like you said, raspberry leaf tea and nettle. I love, love, love those two. And we're going to go
hibiscus tea. It's also very detoxifying.
Yeah, exactly. I know we have another series coming up later in this podcast that we're going to go specifically into herbs and supplements that you can use to support yourself. But I think it's worth mentioning nettle specifically because it is iron rich and it has a lot of minerals in it. And within traditional Chinese medicine, nettle is one of these. It's often used to bring your Jing energy back. So in Ayurveda, that's your prana, and it fortifies your base layer of energy. So
it's a forgotten superfood. It's really
exactly. And I think coming from the northern hemisphere, you and I, looking to the foods that grow naturally in our environment that are superfoods is really good. I'm not saying that other superfoods, from the rainforest or from China or other countries are not as good. It's just I think that our bodies resonate really well with the foods that are naturally from our traditional heritage.
Yeah. And there's also a sustainability aspect in it, of course. Buying it more locally and So but we'll go into that in I think in 2-3 episodes. We will talk about the adaptogens and herbs for your hormones. So that would be super, super nice. Looking forward to that one. So and then after your breakfast and everything, then you have lunch, and then you eat what you eat for lunch.
So in the summer, I definitely go for salads, and my salads are like your Buddha bowl. I always have a staple kind of ingredients that I have at home. So it's always some beans, it's always or an egg or maybe tofu, or if I have some leftover fish from the dinner before. That's kind of the protein basis. And then I like to use whatever salad leaves are in my fridge. And then I will always have some sort of toasted nuts, roasted nuts, and then I love to have a miso dressing. So miso is a really good ingredient for probiotic means, and wherever I can sneak in good gut bacteria, I do it. So having a miso dressing is really nice. Again, if you'd like the recipe, just give me a shout. And then in the winter, I have soups. I have really noticed. So Sarah and I both have shared our kind of gut healing journeys. And if you don't know about it, you should go back in our Instagram stories and check it out, because we both have gone through a major gut healing period. And for me, allowing the system to have one meal a day where it's a little bit easier for it to digest. And especially if you're busy throughout the day, soups are really nice for the system not to have to work a lot extra.
Yeah.
And summers, my digestive system is stronger. I noticed in the summer, so it can handle the raw foods, but in winter it cannot do a salad. It will not work well. So I often make soups in advance and then have a big batch, and then I'll kind of have that, or I'll have a quick miso noodle soup that works really well with some seaweed and a boiled egg or some mushrooms. Yeah, exactly, mushrooms.
Yeah. So I'm getting inspired again.
Cravings, right? Yeah.
I want to make a miso soup now. Yeah. So, and then for dinner, then do you eat something sweet like for 4 p.m. like in that? Cycle.
Yeah, I always have to have something around 4, because we usually eat at 6 o'clock, and then and between lunch and dinner, it's too much of a gap for my system. So what I will do, again, because I know that this is supporting my gut health, I have a little small glass of coconut kefir yogurt, and then I add goji berries or mulberries. They're kind of both superfoods, so I know they're really good. And then I'll add some powder of either rosehip or sea buckhorn or some other super berry like freeze-dried blueberries or something like that. And very little of it, but I feel like this is my opportunity to bring in some extra superfoods. And then I put in ground flax seeds. I know that they make a big difference in how I feel. If I don't do this regularly, I have much more moodiness towards my period. So I know that the flax seeds are helping me detox the extra estrogen. And then I put either roasted nuts in or a blob of peanut butter, some sort of nut butter. And it's so satisfying, this mixture of sour, sweet, crunchy.
Yeah.
It's a really good, for me at least. Oh, and I put some flaxseed oil as well.
So the omega. Anyway, very good one. Yeah. Flaxseed oil.
Yeah. And afternoon go-to, basically. And if I'm having a severe chocolate craving, I will make, I love this, and I'm sure everybody else has tried this by now as well, but if you half a date and you put a slice of like dark chocolate chunk in it, and some peanut butter or nut butter, and then a little sprinkle of sea salt, that is like eating a citrus.
That's divine. It's like it sounds like almost like a Snicker or something.
It is. Yeah. It's got that flavor. It's exactly that flavor. Yeah. So that's my go-to. That I do a lot before my period. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good one. Yeah. So guys, when you're listening to this, contact her for the recipe of the miso dressing and that amazing little snack there with the dates. That sounds a bit. Yeah. So what is my go-to is really, I love chia pudding in all kind of ways.
Nice.
Then with the berries, with warm berries, I warm them up, frozen berries quickly in a pan, and then I put that on top. It's divine. With some vanilla extract, or if it has to go very fast, I eat some homemade granola, which I already, of course, always have a pot, with some plant milk. That's amazing. And otherwise, a little oat porridge, also with all kind of seeds in there, and then I break dark chocolate into the oat porridge.
Oh, nice! That sounds amazing.
Nice. And maybe if I'm in the mood, I put also some fruit in there or some berries again. But sometimes it's also just nice like that. Just stracciatella a bit, this taste.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny though, don't you notice how your cravings change with the seasons changing? Like if somebody said, let's have porridge in the middle of the summer to me, I'm like, no thanks. I would really like to have yogurt with some cereal or something
Coconut
And
yogurt
now,
or something, yeah.
yeah, and now I really feel this urge for warming,
Yeah, me too.
porridge that's like a hug in a bowl.
Hug in a bowl, yeah, I love that. Yeah. So, and then for dinner, what do you have in this in your cycle, like in this?
Yeah. So the curry I would definitely go for as well. I love curries, and I think having a family, you can make the curry really mild, and I think the sweet potatoes work really well for kids too, because they have this, undertone of sweetness in the dish that helps them eat that dish. I have a really nice curry that I also often make during the winter for regular meals. But otherwise, I'd say my go-to is that we have pasta pesto is a big one. So, and the great thing there is that you can make a huge batch. Again, you can freeze it. And you can roast some vegetables, you can stir fry some vegetables, whatever's in season works to go into the pasta pesto. And you can use any kind of pasta. You can have, the lentil pasta, or you can go chickpea pasta, or you can do regular straight up, white pasta. And you can play around with the you don't always have to have pine nuts and basil. You can use arugula, and you can use walnuts, or
it's super playful. Pesto is very playful dish. Pasta pesto, I use buckwheat. I really love buckwheat pasta or brown rice pasta. It's naturally gluten-free. And then again, like with I make also my pesto myself, and then as you say, you can play with it, put that or some little tomatoes or some I love the pine nuts in it, of course. And then it also gives it gives you also that kick of garlic, which is also anti-inflammatory. The basil is actually also a superfood. So it's actually a great one. It's kind of this comfort food, but you can also healthify it, because if you buy, of course,
pre-made
the pesto from the supermarket, which is full of sunflower oil, and it's not kind of alive anymore. The prana has gone, let's say. Plus, you buy with kind of white pasta all the time, then it's of course not a very of course once in a while you can eat that if you're not gluten intolerant. Once in a while it's fine, but if you really want to nourish yourself and enjoy that meal with lots of taste, then you can upgrade it to and it's really, really easy to make your own pesto. It's very easy. It's
so ridiculously easy that anybody that ever makes it, when they've never made it before, they're kind of like, well, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yes, I was the same.
You just shove it all in a hand, use a hand blender or a little food processor, and it's done. It's really easy. And you're putting lots of olive oil in, which is really healthy for you. So overall, it's a really good one, and it works so well throughout the year, because you change the ingredients every time, and then it feels like a fresh dish.
Amazing. So do you have any last maybe tip or message for our audience about this?
I think just rounding off and saying, listen to your body. If it's craving something, there's usually a reason for it. And I think, we can try to make healthy choices when we have the cravings, because going against the craving is just going to end up with you, if you withhold a craving all day and then you come home and you have a cupboard full of cookies and chocolate, you're just going to shove it all in your mouth instead of giving your body a little bit when it's initially craving it.
And then the right things. Those sweet potato brownies, chocolate brownies.
Exactly.
But for that, you need to be prepared, of course, and not do it in the last moment, because then you have nothing at home.
Exactly. It takes a bit of forethought, but I think if you have respect for and you know where you are in the cycle, you can make space for that. On a Sunday morning, you cook the brownies, and then you just cut them up and put them in the freezer, and then the days before your period, you take out the slices, and then they're ready to go when you have the craving.
Yeah, that's it's all about preparation.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was amazing again talking with you, Steph. The next topic of our podcast will be gut healing and hormones. Yeah. So what the gut has to do with your hormone imbalances, and how you can balance it. That will be a very nice one. And the episode afterwards will be about hormone disruptors in cosmetics, also very interesting. So I'm really looking forward to this going on with this series. I hope you could take something from it. As I said, please get in touch with us with any questions or remarks. And we wish you a beautiful day wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.